And back here at Mile High Stadium, the Denver Broncos have won the toss. They will be receiving. And that means that Von Hebron is the return man, and he sets up shop a couple of yards into his own end zone. Doug Pelfrey will kick it away for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And Charlie, the new trend in the NFL this year in '97, don't hit the ball high and let your coverage get underneath it. Just drill that thing as far as you can and try to get it out of the end zone and make them start on the 20.
Overcast here in Denver, but warming up this afternoon. Almost a squib type kick, takes a high bounce. Jump catch by Hebron, who comes up and then is down to the 22-yard line, matching his own number, 17 yards on the return. Tom Tumulty makes the tackle, and let's take a look now at the Denver Bronco offense, led by the quarterback, John Elway. Here's his offensive line.
Hey, Charlie, I think this is one of the best offensive lines in the leagues that nobody knows anything about.
And the backs and receivers.
Shannon Sharp, keep an eye on 84, people. He's got the bad ankles. They've been bad for a couple years.
Terrell Davis gets the first call as expected, slips the tackle. He's going to move close to the 25-yard line. And he is stopped by Rico McDonald, one of the two inside linebackers, as we check out the front seven of Cincinnati.
Hey, we told you about that Dan Wilkinson challenge. That is the group right there that has to take Terrell Davis or try to take him out of the ballgame.
The Bengal secondary.
Watch the safeties. Remember we talked about play action pass. The safeties are the key to play action pass.
Second down and 7, 3 wide receivers. Davis gets the call again, has the whole left side, makes a nice inside-out move, picks up the first down across the 35-yard line, out to the 36-yard line, and he has a quick 12 yards on the play in the first down.
Terrell Davis holding that collarbone area right there after going down, but, you know, remember I told you, safeties are key to play action. Well, safeties are also key when they start leading you in tackles, and the first person to hit a Terrell Davis is a safety is an awfully bad sign for Bruce Coslett's defense.
Von Hebron replaces Terrell Davis as he comes out of the backfield. He'll be worked on or looked at on the near sideline. McCaffrey, the motion man, comes in and then back out. Hebron gets the call. He'll pick up a couple of yards on the play. Kimo von Oelhoffen makes the tackle.
Now, one thing about this offensive line of Denver that I like so much, Charlie, is you don't have to pound people and put them on their backs. You know, we all get hung up in this pancake thing. What Denver's offensive line does so well, and what Zimmerman there at right tackle 65 has done his entire career, he stays between the ball and the defender and gives that guy somewhere to go behind him to run. He's one of the best in the last 10, 20 years.
Derek Lavelle is now the remaining back. Three-step drop, Elway sack. Gerald Dixon got it, and that is only the second sack of the year for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, you know, we've also talked about Dick LeBeau's defense, guys, and right here, there's Dixon, number 51. And just like you saw against Troy Aikman and other great quarterbacks in the last couple of weeks, early in the game, coordinators like Dick LeBeau are willing to take a shot, take a chance, and try to get a helmet on a quarterback, and there's Dick LeBeau right there.
4 wide receivers, third down and 13. Blitz is coming, it's picked up. Pass is on target, close to the first down, leaning forward is Rod Smith. He has been the big play man for the Denver Broncos. Is this one going to be big enough? Let's see if he gets the spot.
Well, you know, the last play, they brought one more blitzer than the Broncos can handle. The pickup was made that time. And look at Smith's body language. He knew exactly where that first down marker was.
And a first down for the Denver Broncos. We'd like to welcome those of you that are watching the Baltimore-Tennessee game. Baltimore defeating Tennessee 36-10. This is the opening drive of the ball game between the Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals. John Elway's pass to Ed McCaffrey is incomplete. Jimmy Spencer had the coverage. We have no score. There's the final that we mentioned. Baltimore 36 and Tennessee 10.
Importantly, though, for the Cincinnati Bengals, folks, and if you're just joining us, we've seen John Elway twice so far in this possession, which is the Broncos' first, go down hard. Once on a sack and once on a splat, because Ricardo McDonald came in and just leveled them at last play.
7th play of the drive. This drive started back at the 22-yard line. Here's the pitch to Davis. And Davis is cut down right at the line of scrimmage by Kimo von Oelhoffen.
You know, this Cincinnati defense, why do you change coordinators and why do you change a lot of things? Well, your defense really stunk last year in '96. You had an offense that was a playoff quality offense and a defense that would not hold up. Dick LeBeau comes over from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he has instilled on a defense that is very responsibility-based. That's why they had the problems 2 weeks ago. They forgot their responsibilities.
3 wide receivers at the top of the screen. The 4th wide receiver at the bottom. Elway of pressure. He's going to be sacked for the 2nd time in the ballgame. Renard Wilson, the rookie #1 draft choice out of Florida State, gets him.
Well, Charlie, actually it was Andre Collins, the former Redskin, number 55. Watch him coming from the inside of the screen, the linebacker position, and just come free right there. 55 gets Elway. How many times do you see an opening series for the Denver Broncos and Elway's getting knocked around like this? This is a perfect start for Kozlitz's defense.
Tom Ruin will be kicking. Greg Myers, local boy. His family is here. High snap. Gets the kick away. Flag is down. Fair catch is called for and taken at the 21-yard line. Flag back at the 28. 40 yards on the kick. Let's see if it's going to stand up or not.
I think it's going to be against the Broncos. You got a hold. Somebody got a necktie out on the end. When I say a necktie, that's somebody on the punt team putting an arm around the neck of the defender.
Holding on the kicking team, number 56. That foul is declined. First down.
I'm surprised. I thought they wanted to kick it again. Perhaps better field position.
I wouldn't give a punter like Tom Ruin another shot at it 5 yards back. I mean, you're not going to get much better than the 21-yard line.
So Cincinnati moves on offense for the first time in the ballgame. No score, 10:53 time remaining. We're in the first quarter. And Cincinnati starts at their own 21-yard line.
Start now, Charlie, the power on.
John Carter gets the call, and he's going to get 1 yard, and that is it. Let's look now at that offensive set for the Cincinnati Bengals. Their offensive line.
Well, the offensive line is the root of the problems offensively for this team. They need the tackles, Jones and Anderson, to step up monster big in this game.
Backs and receivers.
Well, I mean, this is a good quality group of receivers and backs.
Outstanding wide receivers. 2nd down and 9. Kijana hit at the line of scrimmage. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Let's check out that Denver Bronco defense. Bill Romanowski with that last tackle. Here's their front 4.
Hey, you don't want to face a front 4 like this, Charlie. If your offensive line is struggling, they will push those guys into the backfield, into the linebackers and defensive backs. And this linebacker and defensive back group is going to be challenged early by Jeff Blake and Pickens.
He'll have to throw here. It's 3rd down and 9. Has a slot on the right side. Has pressure. In reality, was throwing it away. He goes to Kijana Carter. John Mobley was in hot pursuit. Oh, he led her to the backfield, didn't he?
Well, Dick LeBeau wants to give him the blitz when they had a little defensive opportunity. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, brought all his dogs on that one right there. They line up in the slot-type defensive formation and brought the house.
So Lee Johnson will kick it away. It's going to be 3 and out for Cincinnati in their first offensive possession. And waiting at the 27-yard line, an outstanding return man, Darian Gordon. They don't want to take any chances. They go for the sideline. The NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. You'll visit NFL.com for all of the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action. Plus, chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars. It's all NFL.com. You're on there, aren't you? Every once in a while?
Oh, I'm all over the internet.
You are?
Charlie, let's keep an eye on Terrell Davis. Remember, he came out in that last series holding that left shoulder area.
First down at the 31-yard line. Davis is the tailback. Elway to throw on first down. There's better protection underneath the coverage. It is incomplete. He goes to Rod Smith as we go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Charlie, and we take you to Buffalo, where Indianapolis recovered a fumble punt and then immediately capitalized. Jim Harbaugh 10 yards to Aaron Bailey. That is the Colts' first offensive touchdown of the season, and the Colts are up on the Bills 7-0 in the first. Charlie?
Stranger things have happened, Greg. I saw Indianapolis last week in that struggle, and they didn't get near the end zone as far as the touchdown was concerned. Here's the pitch to Terrell Davis. Davis has the left corner, and after he's hit, still manages to pick up about 3 more yards to mark it out near the 38-yard line.
That tired old cliche we talked about, stop the run and let Elway beat you. Well, right now this offensive line is doing a good job of blocking for the run, giving Terrell Davis places to run and things to do, but so far the John Elway part of that equation has been on his back an awful lot with some pretty inferior protection and overmatched defensive schemes.
Terrell Davis with 3 100-yard games. This is the 4th game of the season. Already 4 carries, 21 yards. Elway 1 of 3, 13 yards. He's been sacked twice. Fakes the pitch out. He rolls. This is very dangerous. And he dives for it. He loves to do that. I think he has more fun when this happens at any other time of the ballgame. Well, he really enjoys it.
Charlie, this is one of the cardinal sins. Watch Big Daddy right here. You got to keep contained. I don't care if it's on John Elway's right or John Elway's left. You don't let him outside of you. Now, he's got a little bit of an excuse as Tony Jones was trying to rip his jersey off holding him. But you don't let the quarterback, especially John Elway, break that contain.
And remember, Elway throwing only 1 of 3 thus far for 13 yards. It's a first down at the 42-yard line. Elway on target. Rod Smith. Smith down the sideline. Pulling a bingo with him inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. 25 yards on the play.
I don't know what Jimmy Spencer, number 22, is thinking at the end of that play, just trying to grab him by the jersey. Tackle him. Watch Smith, top of the screen, cuts right underneath McCaffrey on a crossing pattern. He's got Spencer trailing him, and watch Spencer. No. You grab the legs. It works a lot better than trying to rip the name off the back of his shirt.
At the bingo, 32-yard line. We have no score in the ball game. Moving on the 7-minute mark, time remaining. We're in the first period of play. Nothing there for Davis. James Francis with the tackle. And a flag is down.
That's a game against John Copeland. He took a punch, I think, right at Brian Habib's head right at the end of that play.
The call from Mike Carey. Copeland is number 92.
Watch the very end on the right of the screen. See Habib on the ground being pushed in the back right there. Habib's pushing him. That's that slug in the right side of the head, and that's just an example. Bruce Kozlik's got to get on this defense and say, look, enthusiasm is great. Attacking is great. You got to keep your composure. Don't give this offense yards because, I mean, they'll take enough. Don't give them any.
So with the penalty, the ball goes to the Bengal 19-yard line. First down for Denver. When you're playing the Denver Broncos, you cannot give up yardage like that on stupid penalties.
And you also better keep track of Shannon Sharp when you get in this red zone area.
Pump fake, full spin, 360 degree. It was a middle screen, and he just downed it, and the flag is down.
That's going to be intentional grounding on John Elway. He was inside, and he didn't have a receiver anywhere near.
Looking for a middle screen, but you're right. All the receivers were outside. We'd like to welcome those of you that have been watching the Kansas City Carolina game. The Chiefs defeating Carolina 35-14.
There are 2 fouls on the offense. And the ultimate receiver downfield number 75. That foul is declined. Intentional grounding. On the offense, number 7. 10 yards, loss of down, second down.
Well, I'll tell you, Charlie, what we've seen so far, we've seen all that pressure, and right here, take a look at a fluster foul. John Elway getting a little pressure, a lot of pressure actually, and getting a little flustered because the nearest receiver was Shannon Sharp, and he never left the right tight end position where he was pass blocking.
And part of the zone blitz is the blitz.
Well, that's the huge part of it in a Dick LeBeau defense. You're going to see a lot of zone behind it, but you better have the time. If Elway gets the time, he can beat this zone.
Elway now only 2 of 5, 38 yards. Again, he's been sacked twice in the ballgame. Second down and 20 at the Bengal 29. Three-step drop, and he misses. He goes outside to Von Ebron. It is incomplete, so it'll be third down and 20.
Yeah, this is a Sunday afternoon. It's a great day of the week. You got to love football season. But one thing you don't want if your quarterback is company, you might invite company over for a game, you know, have the pretzels and sodas and stuff. But John Elway's having way too much company back there.
He wants his own space, doesn't he?
Yeah, he needs a lot of space because he's not getting much.
Speaking of space, where's Shannon Sharp?
Well, Shannon Sharp, remember I said earlier, his ankles have been bad. In the preseason game against New England, he tweaked that when he had surgically fixed and re-hurt it again last week.
He's the tight end on the right side with 3 wide receivers. Elway has to scramble, has even more pressure. He goes deep into coverage, pushing and shoving, maybe intercepted in the end zone. Let's see what the call is as Cincinnati comes running out with the ball. We have not had a whistle. That is Tremaine Mack who comes out with the ball. Jimmy Spencer was back there for the tip. And it is an interception, and it will stand. And Cincinnati has the ball. Will step aside. 27 yards on the interception return.
Sit down, make it a Bud Light by Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. By Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping people live safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. And by Intel, makers of the amazing Pentium 2 processor.
We come back. Elway pressured again. Interception in the end zone. The return outside the 25-yard line. Cincinnati with the bye week. They needed to work in the defense. So far, it has paid off. No score in the ball game. Bengals at their own 26-yard line, first down. Play action fake. He has pressure. One-hand grab. This is going to lose some yardage. Marco Battaglia with a one-hand grab and the loss of yardage, and flags fly at the 21-yard line.
It's a little extra effort on behalf of the Bengals and a little too much extra effort on behalf of the Broncos.
Personal foul on the defense, number 51. A late hit with the helmet. 15 yards, automatic, first down.
That's a late hit on John Mobley, but now let's go back to the interception in the end zone.
Well, you hear people like me yapping just incessantly about 5'9 DBs, 6'5 receivers. Throw it to the tall guy. John Elway threw it to the tall guy, McCaffrey. The short guy, Spencer, makes a great play. The ball never hits the ground, and Tremaine Mack comes out of that ball. Look at the ball. It's loose. He gets it, and he returns it. A great athletic play by Spencer with great body positioning.
McCaffrey never had a chance to touch him. He wasn't down, and he was on his feet as Mack came out with him. And a good none call by the officials who were right there in the end zone. John Carter against the Denver defense is going to pick up about 2.5 yards. He's stopped by Ray Crockett.
And once more, real quick on that play, that interception by Elway, it was pressure from the defense that made Elway roll out that far to his left and throw that jump ball up there and set it up. So LeBeau's defense has decided, yeah, Terrell Davis is going to run on us, but we're going after John Elway.
And Elway off to a very slow start, as the numbers indicated. Second down and 8. Blake, a rainbow throw that'll come down in the receiver's hands, and it is caught, and there is a flag. Did he come down with it, or did he miss it?
Charlie, that's pass interference against Pickens.
Did he push him off?
He pushes off right at the very end. This is a play that he's used to running with his quarterback, but he pushed off the defender.
Interference on the offense, number 81.
You're right, it's on Carl Pickens.
Remains second down.
You call it the rainbow ball, Charlie. It's exactly how Blake likes to throw to Pickens, but watch right here at the end. He knows it's coming down early.
Ooh, I'm not from that angle.
Well, you got to look at it, because from this angle where I'm at right here, it looked like pass interference. Watch at the end. Right there, that left arm pushing off. He knows it's coming down short. That is a planned play. That's not. It's a planned underthrow.
So with the penalty, the ball goes back to the 31-yard line.
But, you know,
second down and 18.
Carl Pickens brought up a great point to us yesterday, Charlie. He says, depends on who you are. The Jerry Rices and the Michael Irvins get away with that little of a push.
You're right. You are right. Second down and 18. Three-step drop. It is intercepted. A flag is down. It is intercepted off, but they're going to bring it back. And another flag is down.
It's a personal foul going to be called against Alfred Williams hitting Jeff Blake. That play was
I'm not sure anybody heard the whistle.
The play was whistled dead.
But nobody, I didn't hear it. And I got my volume turned up.
There was no play. Delay a game against the offense. There was no foul for unsportsmanlike conduct. The ball was intercepted. Second down.
Now watch the end. You know why this isn't a foul? He doesn't quite know what to make of this. Now you know what it is? He's an offensive player. That's why there is no foul. The ball was intercepted. The player thought he was on offense. The play was whistled dead.
We've had a little bit of everything as the ticker goes rolling by to give you a chance at home to catch up what else has happened today. 4:21 and counting. We're in the first quarter. We are in a scoreless ball game.
And we're seeing a pretty good spike in Bruce Coslet's blood pressure right here, too.
Second down and 23. Here's a rainbow down this sideline. And it is caught. It is Pickens coming out on the near sideline. And he is going to go out of bounds at the Denver 43-yard line. 31 yards on the play. First down. Remember, second and 23.
Well, watch. Darian Gordon, when we talked to him yesterday, he told us, you know, this is a tough pass to defend because it just drops straight in. Honestly, that's good, tight coverage. You can't defend that pass if it is thrown properly. And Carl Pickens goes to the perfect spot for Jeff Blake to parachute that thing in there.
Pickens, 8 catches in each of the 2 ball games that the Bengals have played this year. Here's the quick out, far side. It is Pickens, and he goes to the 35-yard line.
Nice game.
You know, one thing that defenders have done for the last year or so against Carl Pickens and Jeff Blake is they've played what's known as a cover 2, too deep, just a zone where they won't let you throw behind them, or a cover 6 where you almost stack the safeties behind the corner. Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens have said, okay, fine. They've adjusted their routes. They've adjusted their techniques. They're willing to take the short ones and let Pickens try to turn it into the long one.
Jeff Blake, he's shown the rainbow now. He can show in the last one that he can really drill it for 8 yards. Second down and 2. Another flag is down as Kijana Carter gets the call. This must be Flag Day in Colorado.
We've seen a little bit of everything and too much of that.
Offside. Defense. Number 94. 5 yards. The measurement gives a first down.
NBC's premiere week starts on Monday tomorrow with 5 nights of all-new must-see comedy. All your favorites will be back with all new episodes, plus ER premieres with a live broadcast. We'll be talking more about that. In other words, they're going to do what we do. I thought I'd throw that in. Don't miss a minute. NBC premiere week starts tomorrow night.
I bet you don't see a single replay and they don't get a telestrator. Though a telestrator in a medical show could be kind of interesting.
They might want to add a telestrator. They could add a replay also. First down, Cincinnati. Carter has the hole on the right side, and he plows his way for the first down. Kijana Carter. Tyrone Braxton finally makes the tackle. 12 yards on the play.
Just a good, smart job by Kijana, because remember, he hasn't had much going on. Not a whole lot of room, so Kijana goes in here, and he's covering the ball with both arms. See that? He's not going to let the people rip it loose. Once he clears the line of scrimmage, he clears that off arm, and he goes into the defensive backfield. But the 2 hands on the ball around the big bodies, and once you get to the little guys, they can't rip it loose.
16 yards and 4 carries for Carter. He's the remaining back. He carried. Jump step to the outside, comes back inside. 16-yard line, good for 1. It'll be second down and 9. Denver defense has been tough this year. Neil Smith making that last tackle.
It's been because up front, they've added guys like Neil Smith and Keith Traylor. And they've said, okay, you can't go right at us. Well, you know, Cincinnati, with bad offensive line as it is, says, okay, we'll go at you.
What do you call their front four? Denver's front four?
Oh, it's the all-mercenary team. They're all from somewhere else making a bunch of cash.
Three-step drop. Pickens, right side. 10-yard line. It'll be third down and still speaking of the all-mercenary team, here they are.
Well, you just look at where they were, where they are. They all have two things in common. They're all pretty much at the top of their game, and they've all got nice big bank accounts now. This is a Denver Broncos organization and Denver Broncos team that spent a lot of money to win now. They need good defense now for John Elway in this offense.
And you say to do that, you have to have an NFC-type defense, big, strong, aggressive.
Tough, physical up the middle, speed at the linebacker.
The Broncos have that. We'll have the answer for you from Randy Cross when we come back. Don't go away. No score in the ballgame.
Eileen, she's been good to us. I reckon it's time I go into town and get us a new vehicle.
All right.
Someone else and not for me.
Leyland, what has gotten into you?
I don't know, but I like it.
I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried.
If it were a guy's world, this would be your 9 to 5. And you'd always be cool. But in the real world, guys sweat 40% more than women. Guys need the protection of Speed Stick antiperspirant. Speed Stick, protection just for the guys.
You going out for this one?
Oh, let's go.
Let's do it.
Blue. Hut, hut.
I'm open.
This is the NFL on NBC.
This drive by Cincinnati started with Tremaine Mack's interception in the end zone of John Elway's pass, only his second interception of the season. Third down and 2. Here is Carter. And a defensive surge. It will be close to the first down. He may have it. Kijana Carter. Is there another flag down?
No, Kijana Carter is down, Charlie. I mean, he was fighting for those yards, and he was yacked down very, very hard, grabbed by the jersey right on his shoulder, and got up extremely slowly.
He is hurting. He's going to go back down to his knees.
See the way he's holding that left shoulder. Watch the pull down. It's not a tackle or a takedown. It's right there. See that elbow out like that? When you land on the elbow and you land on the shoulder, you start fighting and squirming, making sure that ball's over that first down line. You lose a lot of regard for your body, and sometimes you pay for it.
And it is barely by just a couple of inches the first down. It'll be first down and goal to go. We have an injury timeout. We'll step aside. We'll be back in just a moment.
Liberty Mutual, helping people live safer, more secure lives, presents Playing It Safe. A 225-pound special teamer moving at 15 miles per hour meets a 195-pound return man with his arm raised. How far will the return man fly as a result of their collision? Stay tuned.
Franklin Perry may have the safest house on Bristol Court thanks to Liberty Mutual.
Wow.
Carnothoris sapidus.
That's one mean bush.
We have over 500 home safety tips, including how to prevent break-ins.
The ancient Greeks called this the bush of pain.
Tips like planting prickly bushes under your windows and installing deadbolt locks. Safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. Liberty Mutual.
There won't be a collision if the returner signals fair catch, since it's illegal for anyone to interfere with him or his path to the ball. It's a rule that keeps body, soul, and ball together.
Remember, Mr. Pearson, once you enter the witness protection program, you'll disappear. Here's your new birth certificate, passport, driver's license, and keys. New house, new car. Well, good luck.
As we come back, 17 seconds left in the first quarter. The defense of the Broncos. I asked you that question about him just a moment ago. Bruised left shoulder, by the way, on Carter. He will be back.
Well, it would appear that they've built that type of defense here in Denver. Kijana would definitely agree that they do know how to hit. This is the number of points allowed so far. And I mean, this is why you spend the money on defense, is to make that type of an impact in this league. And Greg Robinson there, the defensive coordinator, has got some toys. We don't always talk about toys on defense, but you look at that front four, you look at that linebacking crew led by Bill Romanowski, really the steadying influence, number 53 on the defense, and some very talented defensive backs. He's got all the toys he needs to torture offenses.
Eric Bieniemy is the tailback. Pickens is wide to the left. Blake rolls, throws back, has a man wide open as a tight end, Tony McGee. Touchdown, Cincinnati. And the Bengals go on the scoreboard first.
Charlie, there's a Bruce Coslet, almost Bill Walsh type of a roll one way and put it where they ain't. Because the Denver defense, we talked about how quick and how aggressive and how active. Well, they paid for being quick and active and aggressive right there. They reacted so hard on the onside fake. McGee came all the way from the right side for that catch.
The extra point attempt by Pelfrey is up, and it is good. And the Cincinnati Bengals take the early lead, a score of 7-0, with 1 second left to play in the first quarter. Are you surprised?
Well, I'm surprised by two things. One is the defense of the Bengals being able to attack and confuse this offense of the Broncos. And I'm really surprised that Bruce Coslet's able to hide his guys so well in the receiving game. Because on that last play, McGee does the old hiding, the hidden tight end. You know what a hidden tight end is? Watch Tony McGee, the right tight end that you've got right there. The right tight end, he falls down, and when he falls down, look at him squirt across. That is an old Paul Brown play. That's a play that Bill Walsh learned from Paul Brown. That is a play that Coslet learned from Bill Walsh and Paul Brown. And you think he's seen that work a couple times?
So with 1 second left to go in the first quarter, Cincinnati Bengals are out in front of Denver by a score of 7-0. And Doug Pelfrey will be kicking it away. Von Hebron is the deep return man. When they opened the ball game, it was a squib type kick. This time it goes deep. And Hebron, an excellent return man at the 1 yard line. Through the 15, looks for the corner. That's a piece of it, and that's about it. A nice return out to about the 25 yard line. 24 yards on the return. Andre Collins with the tackle. That's the end of the first quarter, and Cincinnati has a 7-0 lead.
This is the sound of commitment. The planes, trucks, and people of UPS in action, giving you more on-time delivery options than anybody else. Whether it's same day, overnight, 2-day, 3-day, ground, international. In other words, whatever you need to move your business.
Thanks.
UPS, moving at the speed.
This is Charlie Jones, Randy Cross. We start the second quarter, Mile High Stadium. The Broncos trailing 7-0 at the 25 yard line. And they open on the ground with Terrell Davis. He's going to pick up about 3 yards. John Elway has been struggling. 2 interceptions already, 2 of 7, only 38 yards. His opening drive, he really had problems.
The key is pressure. Last year in '96, John Elway was sacked 5 times in a game by 2 teams, Seattle and Cincinnati, in the game at Riverfront last year that they won 14-10. So it's not the first time he's got a lot of these kind of ugly orange striped helmets on his back. I'm sorry, they're not kind of ugly. They are ugly.
They're from the jungle. Elway sets and throws, and he hits Rod Smith. Let's go pick up the first down as we go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Charlie, and we'll talk about those Indianapolis Colts who are having something of an uprising today. Marshall Faulk, 9 yards and a touchdown. Boy, these Colts who had 19 points all season coming in have scored 14 already today. They're up on the Bills by 2 touchdowns second quarter, Charlie.
That is absolutely amazing.
And that's no slouch defense they're doing
That's right.
against either.
So the Colts, a playoff team the last 2 years, are finally getting on track offensively. Here's Ed McCaffrey. And he'll have 9 yards on the play. That was a first down, so it'll be second down and 1.
And McCaffrey makes a cardinal error for a wide receiver, and they all know it. That is, when you get the ball outside, if you don't stay outside, you know what's waiting for you inside, or the bigger guys and the linebackers. Nothing outside, go inside. Linebacker, Ricardo McDonald, right in his face.
And John Elway now has moved into second in the career all-time completions behind Dan Marino, passing Fran Tarkenton. Terrell Davis, first down, 46-yard line of Cincinnati. Greg Myers with the tackle.
Yeah, it's one of the things Elway wants to do now. We talked about the pressure. He wants to turn around, get the ball, hand it to Terrell Davis, and say, okay, pressure this. It's kind of hard to think about blitz when you got one of those linemen's helmets right under your chin.
First down, Denver started this drive at the 25-yard line. Bengals are up 7-0. We're about 2.5 minutes deep into the second quarter. Here's Davis again. Great shot to the 35-yard line. Pick up of 11 yards and another first down.
And just another gash in the middle of the Cincinnati defense, and a nice job up front by the blocking pattern of the Denver Broncos, specifically Zimmerman coming from the right tackle. It hits late, but watch Zimmerman come this way on this play and set this whole thing up. Late, bang. Working right there against Copeland, just pushes the former #1 draft pick right out of the way.
Terrell Davis going for his fourth straight 100-yard game, has 41 yards rushing thus far, and you can add a couple more to that total as he will move to the 31-yard line, actually add 4 to that total. It'll be second down and 6.
Yeah, I mentioned during one of the commercials a while ago, I was very curious to see how Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak were going to react and adjust to this defense and the way that Dick LeBeau is attacking John Elway. It's very simple what Mike Shanahan's done. He is taking the attack John Elway out of the equation right here, and he's given him a steady diet of Terrell Davis, an offensive line, to take a little of that slack off him.
Interesting. Bingo said they wanted to take away the run of Terrell Davis and let make John Elway try and beat him. That's not working. Terrell Davis, they can't take that away. Elway has pressure, but he goes deep, has a man wide open. Ed McCaffrey, touchdown. He was wide open. There wasn't a bingo within 10 yards of him.
McCaffrey gives his teammates what's now called the mile-high salute after that touchdown. And that's the reason you want a good running game, because if you can pound the defense and you got John Elway at quarterback, he's going to make you pay for trying to hit him.
Jason Elam to attempt the point after a 32-yard touchdown pass. It is good, and we are tied at 7. There is a signal from Mike Carey and the mile-high salute. Back with the kickoff in home without kicking and screaming, didn't it?
I've never been in this kind of place till where this is summer.
David Dunn and Corey Dillon are the deep backs on the kickoff return. Jason Elam will kick it away. And Dunn takes it a yard deep. This is his first action coming off of an injury. He's been active the previous 2 ball games, and he's out to the 23-yard line. 24 yards on the return. 10:53 time remaining first half. Tied at 7 and back.
Sponsor of the NFL. And by the motor oil that provides maximum protection. Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
Welcome back to Mile High Stadium. There was a shot of Randy and the horse as he came to the stadium this morning.
Not much for speed, but pretty good style points.
All right, Cincinnati from their own 22-yard line. They have thrown for 48 yards, rushed for 21. Blake 5 of 6, including the touchdown pass. And Blake to throw, and he's going to be sacked. That is the first time that he has been sacked in this ball game. Bill Romanowski got it.
And that was a little defensive momentum, but watch McCaffrey here go right straight up the field. The blown coverage is right there between the safety and the corner, the communication. Watch McCaffrey, look at that. Hello, McFly. Receiver in town. You might want to cover that guy. I mean, this is, all seriousness aside, this is a good job of execution, not only by McCaffrey just running, but Elway just gunning that thing 40 yards on a rope.
Second down and 18, back at the 15-yard line. Pressure again, dumps it off to the fullback, Brian Mills. Stop made by John Mobley as we go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Charlie, Randy was just talking about defensive momentum. How about this for the Chargers? Warren Moon throws, Rodney Harrison kicks, and he's gone. 75 yards for a touchdown. Game was tied at 3-3. Not any longer with the extra point. The Chargers jump ahead of the Seahawks. The score is 10-3, 12 and change to play in the first half. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Greg. Kijana Carter with that bruised left shoulder is back in the ballgame for Cincinnati. It's third down and 19. Both backs stay in the block. He goes deep. Pass is complete. A huge first down to David Dunn. That is Dunn's first reception this year. He has a broken bone in his left hand, has a soft cast on it, and boy, does he make the big play. And they said he's the big playmaker.
Well, you know, the key there really, though, when you talk about it, is you've got to think about a receiver coming in here, the composure and the calm that takes. This entire offense takes a deep breath, comes on the field. They've just watched Elway and the offense score a touchdown. The defense gets 2 big plays against them. David Dunn comes in and makes a huge third down. And as a team, the Bengals take a deep breath.
That was third down and 19, 30 yards on the play. Corey Dillon is cut down for a loss. John Mobley is the man who made the tackle.
You know, one thing that David Dunn really adds is a confidence factor, not only with Pickens and company and Darnay Scott as a receiving group, but Jeff Blake thinks this guy's the best slot receiver in the NFL. I mean, he has that much faith in Dunn, and that's what this guy means. I mean, think about this time last week, Dunn had a cast on that left hand. Now he's just got a tiny little thing, like a pad, working right on the top of that left wrist.
And you saw the ticker go by, a chance to catch up with the scores around the league. We're tied at 7. Roll out, throw incomplete. Flag dropped way back at the 39-yard line.
It's going to be against the offensive line of the Bengals.
Tony McGee may be an offensive pass interference call.
And Bill Romanowski's being asked, what do you want to do? That's an easy one. Back him up and make Kozlik go longer.
Pass interference on the offense, number 71. Blocking downfield, 10-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Willie Anderson, a tackle, pass interference?
Well, Willie Anderson.
That's oxymoronic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that is not Willie Flipper Anderson. That is Willie Anderson, the offensive tackle.
6'5", 335 pounds.
He's a man.
That's right,
yeah,
but he's not a wide receiver.
He passed big guy a long time ago. That is a man, but that's a man who does not belong downfield.
Second down and 21. He has the wide of the wide receiver. Dropped out of the backfield to Corey Dillon. Dillon to the 40-yard line. A gain of about 6 yards on the play. Be third down and 15. Be sure to join us next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Time, 11 Pacific, as Tiger Woods leads the Americans in the Ryder Cup. And then on Sunday, join us at 8 a.m. Eastern, and a time change for our viewers on the West Coast. We are going to be live at 5 a.m. It's going to be 5 a.m. You got to get up early, but it's worth it. with a live coverage. Set your alarm final day. It's all next weekend on NBC. The good news is I'm in Atlanta on Eastern Time.
If you're a golfer, watching is not an option.
That's right. Both backs in the blocks. Has time, runs out of time. Flag down, scramble, and Blake is down.
Well, you had two things go on there in the pit area. One was what looked like a tackle by the offensive guard. The other one was a little grab on the face mask of Jeff Blake.
May have been Ma'atanavasa.
Got the helmet more than the face mask, though.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15 yards, automatic, first down.
Now remember, that was 3rd down and 15, and it's a 15-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Does he let go? No, it keeps twisting around, twists the head. Look at his helmet's twisted around. Half of his face is gone. He's trying to read defenses through the right ear hole of his helmet.
There's Neil Smith.
That's 3 gigantic 3rd downs, but this Denver defense has had 1 a mental lapse and 2 a penalty lapse. This is just the kind of drive that Cincinnati needs to keep that calm and that composure. It's the last thing Mike Shanahan wants to see.
Ball game is tied at 7 with 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first half. Cincinnati at the Denver 48-yard line. Sliding through is Corey Dillon. Dillon inside the 45 to the 43. Bruce Kozler told us that he wanted to take a look at Corey Dillon. He said he's a young rookie. He has a great body lean, a lot like Marcus Allen. He's going to lean at the end and get a couple more yards for you. He said he's a north-south runner, which is the premier compliment.
Well, that's the perfect guy, too, to have running in a game like this where it's physical, you're getting a lot of hitting, and you're getting a little extra sugar after the ball's down, too. I mean, there's a little words exchange, a little push for the tight end from Romanowski. I mean, these guys are not trying to make friends and get somebody on their Christmas card list right now.
Here's John Carter on the draw. Drop for a loss. Well, Romanowski was there. He's having a good ball game defensively.
Well, you know, this is a offensive back's nightmare. You just got hit real good by Romanowski. Now watch the blocking pattern on Bill Romanowski on this play. Blocking pattern. You're not going to block him. There's a real good chance Bill Romanowski is going to do that. You got to allow for a guy like him, and don't ever expect any back down out of this guy right here.
3rd down and 7. Eric Bieniemy. He's going to have a couple of yards, and that's going to be it. The defense of Denver rises up to stop the Bengals.
You know, and Bill Romanowski, we were talking about him, is doing something pretty smart right here. He's waving to the defense saying, get off the field. You don't want to get into a chipping contest with this offense right now. Don't play their game.
3rd down and 7. You surprised he didn't throw it?
Not really, because that's exactly what the call was for. Bruce Kozler was trying to catch everybody off guard.
Darian Gordon is the return man. Lee Johnson will kick it away for Cincinnati. Fair catch is called for. Steps away. Goes into the end zone for the touchback. So we'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. 43 yards on the kick. 4:52 time remaining first half. Tied at 7.
Goes now.
While we were away, folks, Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator here, talking to his linebackers. You got Romanowski, you got Aldridge, and you got Mobley. And they're talking about one thing, that's jamming up receivers, jamming up that tight end, looking for crossing people. To see Robinson there, you know, a lot of coaches stay calm, cool, and collected. Greg Robinson burns calories coaching.
John Elway, 5 of 10, 88 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's been sacked twice in the ball game. And they go right back to Terrell Davis. This was so effective on their last drive.
They also did something right there, Charlie, they're going to store in the memory banks, and they did it so that Dick LeBeau and the defensive coaches will store in their memory banks. They faked a return, or a reverse to McCaffrey. McCaffrey got a fake handoff from Terrell Davis after Davis got the ball from Elway. It's a kind of a guessing game. Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak go back and forth, just trying to give people something to think about.
You smell popcorn? I smell popcorn. That is making me hungry. Great grab downfield by Rod Smith.
What are the odds of smelling popcorn in the stadium, Charlie?
Pretty good. Jimmy Spencer makes a tackle. That is the 4th reception of the ball game for Rod Smith.
As Spencer playing the defense on Smith, pure timing by the John Elway in this offense. It's something that Smith and Elway have just now started to develop. Remember, John Elway has hit Smith twice this year for 70-plus yard receptions, 1 for a touchdown last week against the Rams.
And he has 4 receptions for 58 yards in the ball game. Here's Terrell Davis. First down, Denver.
You know, when you look at Terrell Davis, he does not look like a big, imposing back. One of those real bruise you up and hurt you, kind of run you over type backs. Well, Terrell Davis has got the yards he's gotten. He's got 300-yard games in a row because he likes to run inside the tackles. And he also runs about 2 feet off the ground. And so far, he's got 11 carries for 55 yards.
More than halfway to his 4th 100-yard game rushing in a row. 3 minutes, time remaining, 2nd quarter. Ball game tied 7-7. Here's Davis again. Big goal. Nice inside-out move. Ball comes loose. They may rule it down. No. He was down. No fumble. Brown cannot cause a fumble. You know that if you follow pro football. To mark the ball at the 44-yard line of Cincinnati, first down.
Well, you know, the great thing about this run is how fast he exploded through the line of scrimmage. And as you see here, the ground definitely caused that fumble. But remember the last drive of the Broncos. What'd they do? Did they risk John Elway? Did they throw a lot of passes? No. They slammed them with Davis. They slammed them with Davis. And then they got McCaffrey free on a blown coverage for a touchdown.
Check out the ticker of the other scores. And here's Davis again. 33-yard line. Another first down.
Well, Terrell Davis is showing you both styles of backs. You got the splat back that splatters defenders, and you got the scat back that makes them miss. Last couple of runs, he's been the splat back. He's giving you a little scat back right there, spinning away as the safety Myers tried to fill up there and make a tackle.
2-minute warning. We'll step aside. Terrell Davis has rushed for 82 yards.
Chair who sat down in front of you while you were trying to watch the game? Well, that's not going to happen this year. Dick says, if you like that, you haven't seen anything yet. Stay tuned.
Next Sunday at the special time of 12:30 Eastern on the NFL on NBC, the Jaguars, the Redskins, Natron means an unbeaten Jacksonville invade the nation's capital, or Elway's Broncos face the Falcons, or regional action. The NFL on NBC next Sunday at the special time of 12:30 Eastern.
2 minutes to go, first half. Broncos on the march. Bengal 33-yard line, first down. Elway to throw. Goes deep down the sideline. Shannon Sharp, he's underthrown incomplete. Maybe the first time he's gone to Shannon Sharp in the ballgame, as far as I can remember. Here's a reminder coming up: the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, Sam White, and Chris Collinsworth will bring you all the scores and highlights of today's action around the lead, and some very interesting scores. Indianapolis for one, Kansas City earlier over Carolina. The Jet-Oakland game came right down to the end of the volume. We've got another good one going here.
This is the game. This game here is a perfect example of an early season game, because people go crazy. They go, oh, they're 0-3. Oh, they're 3-0. Nobody right now is as good or as bad as you think.
AT&T, it's all within your reach, presents A Lineman's Dreams.
Football, the perfect game. But if I could change just one thing, I'd get to carry the ball. I've got moves. I could find the hole, follow my blockers. I can dance and strut and spike. Plus, who's gonna want to tackle me? Yeah, one day right before game time, they're gonna give me number 44, and I'm gonna run like the wind.
We were on vacation.
Oh, your sunglasses.
When we realized we were sitting on a gold mine.
Rubber sunglasses.
Too bad none of the stores saw it that way.
So, any more bright ideas?
Actually, yes. Our own website. And before we knew it, we were selling shades to everyone under the sun.
Open a storefront on the internet with the most powerful network in the world.
Chevy Blazer with the exclusive driver control system. A little security in an insecure world.
This year's Emmy winner for Best Drama, Law and Order returns with a powerful season premiere. What makes a good kid?
That animal killed my boy!
Go on a thrill kill spree.
Just see what it feels like.
See why Law and Order won Emmy's Best Drama.
I want them both convicted.
Law and Order, the premiere, NBC Wednesday.
Cincinnati and Denver, each with 2 timeouts remaining. Second down. Elway goes deep. This time it is incomplete to Rod Smith.
And a flag down going to be called against Spencer. Spencer or Rod Smith. They were hand fighting back there.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 22. Automatic.
On Jimmy
First down.
Spencer. Pass was way underthrown.
This has got to be a lot more flagrant than Pickens, or you can't really like it. That's a touch on the arm.
Oh,
That's-
my.
Give me a break. Give me a break. That's nowhere near pass interference for starters. And secondly, Rod Smith had absolutely no chance of catching that ball.
And also Rod Smith to be called for offensive pass interference.
Yeah,
Officials were 0 for 3.
That's a bad one.
Terrell Davis going to be stopped around the 3-yard line. Dan Wilkinson and Rico McDonald make the tackle. Cincinnati has been penalized 5 times for 68 yards. Denver 4 times for 46. Minute and a half remaining in the first half.
And Bruce Coslett and Dick LeBeau right there, you know, they go in at halftime after the kind of half they've had so far. If they give up the points here, they still have to tell their team, you know, you have stood toe-to-toe with these guys and you slugged it out. It's a matter of calm, it's a matter of composure, and it's a matter of not making the dumb mistakes. When you play a favorite like John Elway and the Broncos in this stadium, you've got to flat out win the game. You can't expect the breaks.
Elway took the count on the play clock down to 1. For the Denver Broncos, second down and goal to go to the Cincinnati 3-yard line. 1 minute, 4 seconds. Time remaining first half. Terrell Davis is the remaining back, 3 wide receivers. McCaffrey comes across in motion. Meanwhile, the handoff to Terrell Davis. He's going to be down. He bounced in the end zone, but down about 1.5 yards out, and he was hit by everybody along that defensive line.
If this is Australian rules football and they bounce into the end zone, you probably get the score, and they raise the big giant pom-poms for Mike Shanahan's offense. But Terrell Davis clearly down there in an opportunity and a shot taken by Shanahan, spreading out the defense and just trying to quick snap one right up the middle on Cincinnati.
9th play of the drive. Again, 3 wide receivers on the set. Elway to throw. Rolling right, throws, touchdown. Rod Smith. That is his 3rd touchdown of the year. Denver takes the lead for the first time in the ballgame.
So far in the first half, John Elway's offense, 15 passes, 15 runs. Early pressure on the passes, brought in the run, took the sting off the pass rush, and has resulted in 2 easy scores using the pass.
Jason Elam with the point after is good. And the Broncos move on top by a score of 14-7.
And Rod Smith, another big play for this Broncos offense that's been looking for a home run hitter. Smith just does a little touch and go on Corey Sawyer. Right there, just hits and goes right underneath McCaffrey for the touchdown.
And here's a program note. On NBC Premiere Tuesday, all of America will see the Mad About You Baby come home.
Help me! What up? It's like some kind of Rubik's Cube.
And the baby's name?
We would like you all to meet.
All right, you have to find out when Mad About You premieres this Tuesday on NBC Premiere Week. I was suggesting Charlie, there's the name for it, and Randy as a backup. A little bit of indecision. Corey Dillon, the return man for the Cincinnati Bengals, still on his feet outside the 30, the 35-yard line. Jason Elam misses him down the sideline, struggles his way into Denver territory. An outstanding return after a bit of a mental mistake, figuring out if he really wanted to take it or not. 56 yards on the return.
Well, just a little hesitation, Charlie. He had him right where he wants him. Sometimes these kickoff teams don't deal well with hesitation because they're expecting the kickoff team to come right at them on that return. They didn't get the right at him, and what Cincinnati gets right here with 13 seconds left on the clock is great field position. And don't forget what we talked about earlier, the Jeff Blake rainbow ball dropping out of the sky from here.
13 seconds. Time remaining first half. Drills this with the Pickens. He gets to the sideline, stops the clock. 8 seconds left. Time for play, or do you go with a long field goal attempt here?
Real long field goal attempt,
sure.
and I think Bruce Kozlitt's in a situation right here where he can take a chance in the end zone right now. I mean, this will run off, I think, 5, 6, possibly 7 seconds. It's a gamble to go into the end zone, but it's a smart gamble if you take it.
Pickens in the slot. Eric Bieniemy, the remaining back. It's incomplete. Going to Pickens on the sideline. Meanwhile, a pushing, shoving contest continues amongst the offensive and defensive line.
Boy, that was really stupid by Alfred Williams. He threw an air punch right there. If he'd have landed, he'd have gotten himself a 15-yard penalty. I don't care if they're holding you. I don't care what they're doing to you. At this situation, you don't give a team 15 yards on a personal foul.
From the 46-yard line, a 56-yard field goal attempt by Doug Pelfrey. This year, he has hit from 46. 56 yards away. Way short. As time expired. At the end of the first half, the Denver Broncos, coming from behind against a very tough Cincinnati ball club, have the lead of 14-7. Now, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York City.
Down that Cincinnati, that's why that yard total's so low. And John Elway and the Denver offense got hammered early and then just said, okay, we're going to pound it at you. And they pounded at him for 92 yards, making Terrell Davis the focus of the offense.
And you had a chance, of course, to look at the Coors Light halftime stats. Here's Jason Elam kicks it away. David Dunn to the 10, 15, has an opening across the 20, down at the 21-yard line. Quarterback comparison, Jeff Blake and John Elway.
You know, on the surface, John Elway 7 of 13. You're saying, well, that's not so bad. 2 touchdowns. He had a pick. He was just getting splattered early, and his running game helped him. Jeff Blake has been the offense, he and Carl Pickens, for the Cincinnati Bengals. They have gotten very little production out of their running game and absolutely nothing on first down. They need production to set up Bruce Kozlitt's play calling on first down.
Double tight end set, Kijana Carter, the remaining back. Carter, big hole, cuts to the outside. He could bow all the way. 40, he's got it. First play of the second half. 79 yards.
Charlie, you want a little help on first down to help out the play calling? Best play call a coach can have is get the PAT team on the field.
Kijana Carter still does not have a 100-yard game rushing, but he's knocking on the door. 98 yards.
Look at the cutback off some nice blocking by that offensive line. And now it's a guy that's been knocked about his knee. knocked about being tentative since he hurt that knee. Nothing tentative and nothing slow about that running back right there.
A 79-yard burst on the first play from scrimmage. Opening moments. Second half tied again. This time at 14. 14-14. The Bengals and the Broncos back with another kickoff in just a moment.
Pizza Hut. We've got a pizza waiting for you. Like Gatorade Thirst Quencher, you don't have to live thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. And by MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
The Cincinnati Bengals have just administered an all quiet to 75,000 Bronco fans here at Mile High Stadium. 79-yard touchdown run by Carter. Here's the kick of high. Very, very short. Taken by one of the upbacks. This, I believe, is a linebacker who is returning it. Keith Burns, backup middle linebacker. Let's go back to the touchdown.
That run right there is a great cutback by Keyjana Carter, but Rick Braum, number 74, makes a fabulous block on a cutback for Carter, and then it's just all Keyjana speed. Watch the offensive line, the block right there by Braum, and he is gone.
That is the longest rush this year in the National Football League. Robert Smith had the previous long of 79 yards against the Bills in the first week. Fake again of no. Fake of the reverse again. Hand off to Terrell Davis. They keep faking that, don't they? They keep faking that. They're setting it up.
Well, that's the second time that they've done that to the Bengals defense. First time, remember, it was McCaffrey. That time it was Von Hebron coming from the far side in as a running back in a slot position.
Gain of 4, second down and 6. We're just a minute deep into the second half. McCaffrey in motion. Davis counters to the 50-yard line. He has 4, third down and 2. A report on Tom Tumulty. The linebacker has a he has a contusion, right thigh, right knee, right thigh, will not return.
As a starting inside linebacker, remember they're thin there already. That means they've got to make a change inside, and that's right where the Denver Broncos have been attacking this 3-4 defense.
Third down and 2. Elway sets, fires, incomplete. In and out of the hands of Rod Smith. Did his knee hit it when he reached down for it? That can happen, and that will kick the ball away.
Well, the key phrase on a receiver, we call them a catch. So often receivers get traps. They trap the ball between the body and the shoulder pad and whatnot, and rarely do you see a receiver that consistently catches with his hands, just snatches the ball out of the air.
Tom Ruin will kick. The return man is Greg Myers, played his collegiate ball at Colorado State. He's from Windsor, Colorado. That's about an hour's drive from Denver. Most of his family is here except his Uncle Wayne. He said he's too nervous. He's pacing at home watching television. 16-yard line for a catch. 34 yards on the kick. 13:08 time remaining, third quarter. Ball game is tied at 14. Starting strong safety, the return man that we were talking about a moment ago. Well, he came up with some 35 tickets, and there's Mom, Carol Myers, watching in the stands. Mom is nervous, as you can see. Cincinnati, the 16-yard line. First down. Play action fake. Blake can run. That's about 8 yards, close to 9 on the play. John Mobley takes him out of bounds.
And what we've seen now, Charlie, you had the great big play on the last one by Keyjana Carter. Now you get Jeff Blake a good gain on first down. They've come out right from the get-go in the second half, and they've made effective plays in their first 2 attempts on first down. It's what they have to do to take the pressure off of Jeff Blake. Can he win the game by himself? Yeah, with his weapons outside, maybe he can, but he shouldn't have to.
Second down and 1. You saw the ticker go by. A chance to update the scores in the NFL today. Carter, not that big a hole over the left side. This time it was closed down, but he may have enough to pick up the first down. Is that enough to take him past the 100 mark?
Hey, remember, Charlie, last time this young man was over 100 yards rushing was in the Rose Bowl.
That breaks his Longest current streak for a ball club, 67 games without a 100-yard rusher. And this is we're seeing today what the Bengals have expected from Kijana Carter since they took him in the first round of the draft in '95, and then he had the knee injury and the operation out a year, and then the slow comeback last year, and now he's starting to hit his stride. Passes through. Nice move by Carl Pickens. Pickens upfield along the sideline. Will be caught from behind. A reach and a stretch by Darian Gordon. 48 yards on the play.
Remember what I told you earlier, Charlie. One about first down. There's another effective first down play. But more importantly, they're taking the long stuff away from Pickens, and they're saying, look, go ahead. Catch it and then run with it. This guy used to be a great punt returner, a great kick returner. And he knows what to do with the ball after he goes. And one thing you can count on with Pickens, when he catches the ball, you got a pretty good shot at getting a first down.
Pickens with 8 receptions in each of the first 2 ball games. Play action fake to Carter, roll right, pressure, steps away. Running down the sideline for Blake, first down out of bounds. He's not afraid to run with the ball. And something else, the coaching staff likes him to run with the ball, and normally you don't have that with a quarterback.
Well, you know, we talk about you got to contain John Elway. Don't let him out. Well, you do that because he's such a threat down the field throwing it. Jeff Blake's a threat down the field throwing it, but he's also a threat down the field running it. Keep contain. Contain is dropped there by Neil Smith. Part responsibility and part just pure speed put on by Jeff Blake. This guy is a serious weapon and will be for a while if he can get a line that'll block in front of him.
Blake 10 of 12, 139 yards passing, and the touchdown. Play action fake, rolling right, being chased, throws it away. He had no chance to turn upfield. So it'll be 2nd and 10 at the 14. Michael Dean Perry, Harold Hasselback were chasing. Keith Traylor has a bruised right shoulder and may not return as an inside defensive tackle for the Denver Broncos.
And Ma'a Tanavasa is in number 98 in his place. Tanavasa comes into the game with a couple of sacks, and what they need from Tanavasa is what Traylor was giving them, not the sacks. They need the oomph. They need the splat. They need that run stop in the middle.
2nd down and 10, 14-yard line of Denver. Good protection all the time in the world. Rose buys even more time. Then he has to throw it away. He was out of time. Excellent coverage by the secondary of the Denver Broncos.
And Alan Aldridge almost separated the young quarterback Blake from his senses on that hit there. You know that's coming. If you're a head coach like Bruce Coslett or a quarterback coach like Kenny Anderson, right about now you're saying, okay, dump it. Now please dump it. And if you run, don't take a shot. Don't take a hit. Throw it. You don't want your quarterback to take too many of these shots like this.
Young quarterback is durable with 44 consecutive starts.
But you don't want to test it.
3rd down and 10. Turns and takes a timeout. So we'll step aside. 10:39. That's the time remaining. 3rd quarter.
Mitsubishi Motors presents a page from the playbook.
Linebacker for the Denver Broncos stirring up the crowd here. 3rd down and 10 at the Denver 14. Drilled on a line before the break. Pass is complete at the 4-yard line to Carl Pickens.
You saw that graphic when we came back. Now over 150 yards in less than 5 minutes of the 3rd quarter for this Bengals offense. Goes to his steady weapon in Pickens and throws that in a perfect spot only where Carl can get it.
Denver, fewest points allowed this season in the NFL, averaging 10.3. They've given up 14. On the verge of giving up 21. That is Pickens' 6th catch of the ball game. He's been averaging 8 a game. Carter, right side, picked up about 3.5 yards out.
You know, Kijana Carter, you talk about the yards he's getting and whatnot for Bruce Coslett's offense. That's the longest run by a Cincy running back since 1971. But what he needs from his offensive line is consistent protection for Bruce Coslet's quarterback and Kenny Anderson's quarterback. You saw the quarterback coach standing next to Coslet. The offensive line is the key to the rest of this game for the Bengals.
Kijana Carter, the tailback, second down, goal to go. Darnay Scott is in the slot right side. Play action fake, end zone, too high, incomplete. Pickens is complaining along the back edge of the end zone that there was pass interference. It will be third down and goal to go, saying he was held on the wrist.
Well, it's a nice case of play action. They sell it very well into the line. Blake does a nice job of selling the play action. The ball is tipped at the last second. I don't have any idea what Carl Pickens is complaining about because there was nothing there.
Eric Bieniemy, now the remaining back, three wide receivers. Pitch to Bieniemy. Stops, cuts, goes again, 1 yard line. Fourth down and a yard. Decision time for Cincinnati. Go for it.
Now you're in their house, Bruce Coslet. Coslet does not have much back down in him. I talked about Romanowski not. Bruce Coslet's going to go for it on fourth down. This would mean the world to the confidence of Jeff Blake in this offense. We're going to get noise, and they're going to get a timeout.
Fourth down and goal to go, 1 yard line. We have a timeout. Cincinnati takes the timeout. Don't go away. Back in a moment.
The forecast, no more than a somewhat educated guess. Those who trust it often wind up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Unlike others, we don't rely.
Out of those 10 plays, Charlie, that's 3 big plays, 7 average plays. This for the Bengals and Bruce Coslet is a defining play.
Right side, play action fake, thrown, end zone, flag. This one with 2 flags needs to be sorted out. Holding against Cincinnati. Kijana Carter really carries out a fake well.
It was such a good fake, he'd have walked in if they'd have given him the ball.
Yeah.
There are 2 fouls by the offense. Holding, number 65. That foul is declined, and a chop block by the center. That foul is accepted, 15 yards, fourth down.
Explain a chop block by a center.
Well, a chop block is when a defensive lineman is engaged, and then you get a chop block. I don't believe it was the center, Brill, 65, that they called for that chop block.
Guard.
It was Bram, 74. As the man was engaged with Brill's the center, Bram came in and chopped down at the knees. Pelfrey ended the game 2 weeks ago as the all-time percentage leader as a place kicker, and 4 straight, as you see there, Charlie, he's missed.
Including a 56-yarder in this ball game. This one's from 33 yards away. To break the tie. Flag is flying through the uprights. Kick is good if it stands. 2 flags are down.
We're going to have motion on the Bengals line.
Before the snap, there was a false start on the offense. Number 60, 5 yards.
Left tackle, number 60, Rod Jones.
Rod Jones, right here from the top, number 60. Watch his flinch. The flinch move inside and the twitch on the offensive side. Defining moments, Charlie, define in both directions.
It becomes a 38-yard field goal attempt to break the tie. Bad snap, nice recovery by the hold. Lee Johnson makes the whole recovery. The kick is good from 38 yards away. Cincinnati regains the lead. They're up by 3, 17-14 with 8:24 left to go We're in the third quarter.
Well, Bruce Coslet and the Bengals just went from an oh yay situation to an okay situation. The guys come off the sideline here. Coslet talks to Willie Anderson, his young offensive tackle, and says, okay, it's all right, we got some points. But watch the job that Lee Johnson does. Little hitch in his get-along as he put it down. All of the exchange problem that ruined the game for the Eagles last week against the Dallas Cowboys, but his punter has done it. He's gotten his points. A little bit of disappointment, but a coach can't let that show. He's got to say, hey, we scored on him in Mile High.
Program note on NBC. On NBC premiere Wednesday, it's Third Rock from the Sun. That's a shocker.
Who's this?
Your new wife!
My wife!
Hi, honey, I'm home!
It's Roseanne, Dick's new wife, on the one-hour season premiere of Third Rock this Wednesday on NBC. Whoa.
It's like telling Shanahan that you're his new quarterback, Joe.
Here's the kick returned by Vaughn Hebra. Honey, I'm home. Check out the ticker at home. Denver now will move on offense with 8:14. That's the time remaining left in the third quarter.
Remember what defined this Denver offense in the first half. John Elway initially taking the big hits. What does Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak, his offensive coordinator, do? They say, look, here's a diet of number 30, Terrell Davis. They rammed it with Davis. Then the big plays came later with the passing game.
Denver starts at their own 32-yard line with a play-action fake. Elway stands in. Goes right. Goes down the side. Almost intercepted. Whoa. Greg Myers almost picked it off.
Good anticipation by Myers coming from that deep safety position, because Elway is dangerous when he rolls out. If you're only going to rush 4 people against John Elway, you had best find a way to keep contained on him, because he's going to find McCaffrey here running all the way across the field, trying to make the deep throw on the run, and as the safety moves inside Myers, he thwarts that play.
Second down. Elway again. Again, good time. This one sails a little high, but he has a tall receiver. And McCaffrey at 6'5" from Stanford. As the reception, Ashley Ambrose with the tackle, 14 yards on the play. First down, Denver.
You know, we've got the baseball playoffs in the World Series coming up on NBC. You're going to hear the term high heat a lot. Well, John Elway from 30, 40 yards away, still at 37 years old, can throw a ball that far with a lot of high heat. I mean, that is no reaction time for the defensive back, Ashley Ambrose. He just brings it. And McCaffrey actually says since Elway hurt his arm, he throws it harder.
Again, play action fake. Sets up deep. Pump fake. Goes back over the middle. Pass is complete to Terrell Davis. About 7 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 3. Steve Tovar with the tackle.
And John Elway's 2 touchdown passes in the first half were completely different. First one, a blown coverage. He throws a little bit of high heat to McCaffrey to his 6 points. And then this time, it's just purely a timing pass for 6 points to Rod Smith. Both those plays set up by excellent running execution by the offensive line and Terrell Davis.
Second down and short. About time for Terrell Davis. Takes the pitch, cuts back, leads forward, has the first down. Greg Myers with the tackle. On the subject of John Elway, what did he do last week against the Rams?
Well, it was one of those weird halves. I mean, he was 9 of 20 at the half, folks. Look at that, 9 of 20, ended up 16 of 28. He smoked them in the second half. You got to be careful with John Elway. He bruised his shoulder a little bit on a play, came out, looked tentative, came back in. Next 2 plays were touchdowns.
First down, Terrell Davis. Needs 4 yards to reach the 100-yard rushing mark for the 4th straight week. Stopped by Dan Wilkinson. When we talked with Big Daddy Wilkinson yesterday, you asked him the difference this year, and he said, I'm preparing my body more for the whole season. That's the difference now than when I first came into the league.
Well, you know, I was really struck with how mature this young man is now. He came in as a young 20-year-old out of Ohio State. And, you know, he's a man that now worries about responsibilities on his defense. The responsibility is not only of his own, but is also his teammates. This guy will be around a long time making life miserable for offensive linemen.
Terrell Davis now has his 100 yards for the 4th straight week. Pass goes to Shannon Sharp. He pulls it in. That is his first reception of the ball game. Steve Tovar pulls him down. You see the smile. He's glad to get one.
Well, you know, he's finally kind of active. He's been a little hindered, but here's Shannon Sharp just releasing out real quick from that tight end spot. When you get the running game and Terrell Davis makes that defense not bring 6 or 7 people on a blitz trying to knock John Elway's head off, you see a lot of short, efficient passes from this offense. You're expecting the thunder. You're expecting the quick strike. They're slowly nicking you to death.
3rd down and 1. Terrell Davis. Medium 1. He gets a couple just inside the 30-yard line. 1st down, Denver.
You know, maybe it's Terrell Davis's background. Because, you know, when he came out of Georgia, he wasn't drafted very high. I mean, this guy was a steal. Kejon Carter was the first pick in that draft. And here's a guy that's had a, you know, 1,000-yard season or two. What has he done? He's very unspectacular, but he's one of the hardest working running backs that will absolutely bore you on the sideline to watch. He hits in, he gets 4. He hits in, he gets 3. Rarely do you see that running back, Terrell Davis, get a negative.
Timeout to repair umpire's equipment.
And equipment timeout to repair the umpire's equipment.
Of course, what's wrong with the umpire's equipment might be more information than we need to know.
Neil Gerb is the umpire. Do you have your telestrator ready to help us in case we need it on the umpire's equipment?
I don't really want to go there.
All right. Is it back? Is the telestrator back from ER in our live coverage? First down at the 30-yard line. Elway, 3-step drop. His rainbow shot. It is caught, but out of bounds. Ed McCaffrey is out of bounds. Nice touch, just laying it in over the shoulder of the defender.
Well, McCaffrey is looking forward over one shoulder. He has to adjust his body. And one of the best parts about this play, it's not the pass. It's not really right there the almost catch. It's the sales job McCaffrey does afterwards. Watch the ball. Watch his legs.
Ooh.
I'll be honest, I think he caught that and should have been marked out of bounds at about the 1 foot line.
I agree with you. 2nd down and 10. McCaffrey pulled down at the 23-yard line by Jimmy Spencer. Let's go back. We have another angle of that McCaffrey almost would-be, could-be catch.
See, they throw the short stuff to McCaffrey. You forget about what the kind of speed this guy's got. He's a 4.5 40 type guy. Now, you got to look at the possession. If he has possession, does he have it there? No. Now he does, and the first thing to hit is the ball in his elbows out of bounds.
3rd down and 3 at the 23. Davis pops through right side. One of the things we ought to point out, life is not lived or football is not played, nor is it officiated in slow motion as we have a chance to review it. It happens in real speed, and as you said, McCaffrey has good speed, great speed perhaps, for a youngster who stands 6'5". So the officials have to make a call on an entirely different, from a different standpoint than what we have a chance to look at.
Charlie, honestly, the best people in the world are on football fields on Sundays in the NFL. That includes the officials.
First down at the 18-yard line. Elway overthrows everybody. He was out of time. Pressure was coming at him. Follow the NFL online at NBCSports.com. This week, Gil Brandt breaks down the blitz, how it was developed through the years. Roger Staubach discusses the decision to retire and how injuries took their toll on his career. And vote in our interactive poll the question which asks, if you were a quarterback, which receiver would be your go-to guy with the game on the line? That's a good question.
Well, mine's hurt.
Jerry Rice. It's all at NBC Sports. JerryRice.com. Okay. 2nd down and 10. Elway. Diving grab right at the goal line. Touchdown. The Broncos regain the lead with 2.5 minutes to go in the third.
Well, you know, Rod Smith is doing the mile-high salute. You know who he ought to salute? He ought to salute Terrell Davis in the backfield. Watch Davis come over here and block. Bang! That gives John Elway the time to throw that pass to Rod Smith. That is timing, that is teamwork, and that is a Pro Bowl, all-pro running back doing the grunt work.
A high snap, but pulled down by Tom Roy. Jason Elam adds the point after. Hit smash. Denver 21-17. You have just witnessed John Elway's 260th career touchdown, one behind Dave Craig. Elam kicks it away. David Dunn on the return. Cuts back. Dunn at 6'3", 220 pounds, out of Fresno State. Excellent return man.
Well, they've gotten some good field position, but, you know, this whole situation is because of that man and the pass he threw to Rod Smith. And one other little thing. When a receiver catches the ball and goes to the ground, he can roll in the end zone. He's not in. The ball's not in. The roll put the ball in. He was never touched. And the mile-high, I don't know if many military people would appreciate that being called a salute.
He needs work.
That was wilted lettuce.
First down from the 29-yard line. Pass is complete to Pickens.
Baby, Jeff.
His 7th reception of the ball game.
Remember what I said, Charlie, about calm and composure for this offense. You've got to get in a situation like this before you can really appreciate how high your heart rate gets up. This crowd's going nuts. This team feeds off this mile-high stadium crowd better than any other team in the NFL. And the key for a young offense is to take deep breaths and just keep executing the game plan.
You just had a chance to watch the ticker go by to bring you up to date on what's going on today in the NFL. John Carter slides down the line, gets all the way down to the corner, pick up 2 yards on the play, maybe 3, depending on where they mark him out. Home field winning percentage for Denver since 1974, including postseason.
You know, and that Pittsburgh stat there in the middle, they've had some good teams lately. But I can tell you, I played there in the late 70s and early 80s. Going into Pittsburgh was a nightmare with Bradshaw and that great defense. But I've never played in a stadium harder to win in than right here at Mile High.
Second down and 7. Blake, 2-step drop, throws very quickly. Darnay Scott, flag is down.
I got to hear this one.
It'll be a personal foul.
He picked him up in the field of play, and for all he knew, Charlie, he was putting him down in the field of play. There's no rule about being aggressive, legally aggressive. I didn't see anything illegal about that.
Personal foul, unnecessary rough on the defense, number 39. Slammed into the ground after the play was over. 15 yards, automatic, first down.
The key word, slamming into the ground. Here it is.
Over, down, in play. I think that stinks.
I agree with you.
You know, I'll tell you, Charlie, if they want him to treat him nicely, they should give him all blankies and pillows to lay him down with, but I don't think they're going to do that. Ray Crockett's got every reason in the world to be just a little miffed.
First down, 30-yard line of Denver.
I'm not sure miffed is the first word that comes to his mind either.
Carter, 30-yard line. No gain. Second down and 10. Tyrone Braxton brings down Ki-Jana Carter.
You know, remember who we're talking about in this defense. Mobley, the second-year linebacker in the middle of the screen, is now playing middle linebacker 51. Normally on the outside, they're moving these young linebackers around. Nice job of hit and fill. All the blockers were taken up. He just had played go get the ball.
Pickens and Scott on the far side. Second 10. Unabated to the quarterback. Was there movement? Alfred Williams, you know, there's always a finger pointing. Was there movement by the offensive line?
Well, that's his story, and he's sticking to it.
offsides on the defense, number 91. Unabated to the quarterback. 5 yards, still second down.
You know, Alfred Williams is complaining, saying, you know, the tight end move, the tight end move. But watch right here. Watch Willie Anderson. He flinches just a little bit, but it's after Alfred Williams was about 3 yards into the backfield. So I think Alfred was trying to sell a little chicken there.
Cincinnati penalized 88 yards, Denver 66. Three-step drop, flag is down. They want to blow. With this crowd, the play is dead. They got to get louder whistles. Players cannot hear the whistle.
There's a false start on the offense. The right guard, 5 yards, second down.
All you can do, Charlie, is blow it as loud as you can and as much as you can.
Maybe a whistle and a bullhorn when they're here.
See, Jeff Blake heard the whistle. But Jeff Blake looks up and see those foaming mouths and those blearing eyes coming from the defensive side, and they're not saying they're stopping.
They didn't hear the whistle. That's the second time in the ballgame that we've had that happen.
1 second on the game clock, please.
One second back on the game clock, 1 second then remaining in the third quarter. The ball back at the 30-yard line, second down and 10. Then they wind the clock, and that's the end of the quarter. So we have 3 in the book, 1 to go. We've got a good one. Broncos are up 21-17.